Hi everyone, my name's Mike, and in this video I'll be discussing your route to gaining fellow status with the ICB. Now, when looking at the suite of level 4 units, you have the opportunity to study specialist qualifications such as self-assessment tax returns, financial statements for small and micro entities, corporation tax for small and micro entities, and business insight. Each of these units concentrate on different skills and in most cases additional services that you will be able to offer your clients. It is important to note at this stage that in order to enroll on and complete these units, you do need to be ICB qualified to at least level 3 MICB status. That being said, let me give you a little insight on the benefits of each of these units. Completing a self-assessment tax return is a legal requirement for all individuals and businesses, such as sole traders and partnerships. To give you some context, there are currently more than 4.3 million individuals within the UK who are self-employed, 32.4 million who are in employment, and 12 million who are above retirement age. Now, not all individuals who reach state pension age will retire. Some seek part-time work and others set up their own small self-employed business. Completing the self-assessment tax returns unit has a dual benefit. Not only will you be better prepared to complete your own annual tax return, but once registered as an agent with HMRC, you'll also be able to offer this as an additional service to your clients. There are many elements that make up an individual's tax return that you will need to learn and master, and this unit will take you through each of the computations in a logical step that will make it easier to understand, process and retain, not just for the final exam, but also when you're out there engaging with your clients in your own working environment. We want you to feel confident using the skills learnt, and we feel that studying this unit with us will give you the best opportunity to gain this confidence. You'll be taken through what is considered personal income, business income and expenditure, and the allowances associated with these. You'll also be able to calculate the tax and national insurance due to HMRC based on the final figures, and ultimately how to complete and file the returns to HMRC. Within this unit, you will learn about the timings associated with financial years of a business and how they affect the calculation of profits and losses, and therefore the tax implications based on the timeframes. This can be tricky without going through the steps and getting the practice to understand all of the potential variations that may arise. Being able to provide this service to your clients is not only an excellent revenue stream for you, but it also helps to strengthen the bond between you and your client. They will have greater confidence that you are not just looking after their accounts, but in completing their self-assessment tax returns, you're also looking after their business as a whole. As a side note, it is worth noting that HMRC have proposed that by April 2024, all individuals who are required to submit tax returns will be required to use an HMRC compatible software to submit their accounts. This means that the online tax returns portal that is currently being used will no longer be available. Now, although using a software can take the strain out of completing returns, knowing what the software is doing is still incredibly important. Personal taxation of any type is more likely to be queried, and you want to be able to explain what is happening. Completing a course that takes you through the manual elements will put you in a much stronger position when the transition takes place in 2024. As we've just covered, self-assessment is the personal tax implications of an individual, but corporation tax is all about the tax affecting a limited company. Again, on completion of this qualification, you'll be able to register with HMRC as an agent to complete corporation tax for small and micro entities. Now, as of the beginning of 2020, there were nearly 6 million SMEs registered, and this can provide solid growth for self-employed bookkeepers to expand their services offered. Within the corporation tax unit, you will learn about the dates and deadlines for administration and payments. You'll also learn how to complete some of the more complex calculations of adjusted profits and capital allowances. You'll be guided step by step through how to recognise what is and what is not taxable within an incorporated business, the thresholds for each type of allowance, and how to bring all of the information together to complete a corporation tax return through the HMRC gateway. Again, either for your own business or your potential clients. This unit follows the Financial Reporting Standards 102 and 105 for small and micro entities and applies the rules relating to these for incorporated businesses. It covers the underpinning knowledge which can be applied to any business and are the general rules and regulations that must be adhered to for corporation tax. Within this unit, you will cover gains, losses and reliefs, how these are calculated, processed and importantly reported to HMRC. You'll go through all of these stages broken down into manageable chunks so that you can understand the how and the why of these calculations. There are many aspects to corporation tax calculations, and to help you deal with these correctly and efficiently, there is a prerequisite that you complete and pass the Financial Statements for Small and Micro Entities qualification first, and I'll discuss this unit now. The Financial Statements unit and qualification is a continuation of your Level 3 studies, which focuses on the final accounts of a company. You will be looking at limited companies as well as limited liability partnerships. You'll go through the accounting concepts and the requirements for both FRS 102 and FRS 105, the differences in computation and presentation for small and micro entities. You will learn what is required for the reporting to Companies House, how to present the reports, and the timelines for reporting. You'll also look at the differences between financial accounting and management accounting, how these affect your calculations and the requirements of the company. With limited companies, you will be taken through how to calculate share issue, equity and reserves, and how these are defined in the final accounts. You will look at some of the more intricate business types, including consolidated or group accounts, goodwill calculations, internal adjustments to be considered with acquisitions, and drafting the final accounts for presentation. Cash flows are a very important element of any business. This will determine the company's ability to continue trading and remain profitable. In the Financial Statements unit, you will go through and understand what cash flow is, what affects cash flow, and the adjustments required to ensure that you fully understand how a business can remain as a going concern. You will be shown how to interpret the financial statements. This will include calculating ratios for profit, financing and checking how effectively the business's usage of assets is and how these can be improved upon going forward. Finally, the Business Insight unit. Now, this is slightly different from the others that I've mentioned in this video. They were all specific services that you can offer your clients once registered with HMRC. The Business Insight unit can help you to understand and extend your knowledge of your clients or your own business by taking the calculations one step further. Bookkeeping, as a rule, will always be looking at past transactions, what has happened and the impact that this has already had on the business. The Business Insight unit looks into the future of a business. It takes the information that we already know and uses this to project and try to predict what may happen in the future. This might be for as short a time as 12 months, looking at certain trends and patterns within sales, to up to 5 years or more, looking at cost of larger purchases. This unit covers budgets from cash to production and labour, what the variables might be and the measures that need to be put in place to maintain control of expenditure to ensure that the business continues to be profitable. There are ratios within the unit which look at the operating cycle. These will be looking at the timeframes associated with inventory, payables and receivables to ensure that the business is being as efficient as possible and using all of their resources to their full capacity. A big part of businesses making decisions is based on financial decisions, and the Business Insight unit looks at short-term decisions including taking on special work projects and the financial implications of these, looking at the relevant costs and making the best decisions for the business. As well as the short-term decisions, there are some long-term capital investments to be calculated. You'll look at interest charges associated with purchases, the value of money over a period of time, and making a profit from the investments made. Completion of this unit will give you a different view of a business compared to the usual standpoint of a bookkeeper, and this can help you to understand a business's focus going forward. Again, this may be beneficial for your own business, but we feel it would be of particular benefit to that of your clients. Business Insight will enable you to develop a much deeper relationship with your clients, as you're not just dealing with the past, but you're also preparing your clients to prepare and hopefully prosper for the future. So, if you're asking yourself, why should I complete these units? Well, going through the process of upskilling now will reap its own rewards in the future. When you consider these 4 units and the additional services that you will be able to provide, it's inevitable that the bond between you and your client will be much stronger. By treating your client as a complete entity, you're providing a much more holistic service. Your client is much more likely to treat you as an extension of their business, and in terms of client retention, this can only be a good thing. So, how does everything that I've just covered prepare you for fellowship? Well, you'll need to have completed and passed at least 3 of the 4 level 4 units that I've mentioned. You must also have been a full ICB member, MICB status, for at least 2 years, and you also need to have completed a minimum of 5 years' work in the field. Once you fulfill these requirements, you can then apply to the ICB for their highest grade of membership. Once secured, you can then update your designatory letters to show FICB after your name and proudly call yourself a Fellow of the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers.